man, you guys are about to discover
how, hold on, bro. How?
What the day today is like of somebody working in tech sales. So make sure you watch the entire video. This comes at your request because you want to know from somebody who's been in the game for a very long time. So here it is. So where should I start? Well, I will start here, guys. Every job is different. The average daily life of a guy working in construction isn't going to be the same as somebody working into marketing or customer support or tech sales, is it? Well, with that in mind, a lot of people ask me what the life of a tech sales person is like. A lot of people don't even know what people in tech sales actually do.
What do you mean by that?
But don't worry. I'm here to answer all of the questions that you may have.
Nice.
Because I've been in the game for 5+ years, and I'm going to give you the daily life of someone into tech sales, or one may call an account executive or a tech sales person. So make sure, guys, that you stick around.
Bit of a slob, isn't it?
Until the end of the video, because I'm going to give you some helpful tips on how to increase your odds of getting promoted and so forth. My name is Antoine Wade, and you're watching the Black Heights channel. You're watching the Black Heights channel, guys. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. All right. Let's jump into it directly. You guys know that I never ever stop talking about tech sales on this channel. Why? Because it is a lucrative career. It is a career that I stand by. It is a career that I am currently in. Tech sales, that is, yes, tech sales. It is a fascinating career. And a lot of people, I wish, would go down that path. I've been talking about it for a long time. People have been saying, Antoine, what is it that you keep talking about tech sales? Why is it even a great job to have? You've been going about it all this long time, trying to get so many people in it, getting so many people in, and so forth. What is the life is like for somebody in a tech sales? Well, I am glad that you asked, because I love sharing my experiences and my stories. So I figured, why not make a video about it? So let's just say you wake up tomorrow, and what do you know? You are a tech sales person. What is the first thing that you're going to do, guys? Well, go and have your breakfast, unless you fast. Go ahead and brush your teeth, because you got to have some good breath. No matter if you're talking to somebody in person or not, you got to make sure your teeth is looking good. Okay? Get dressed. You definitely want to make sure that you're presentable. All that jazz is something that you need to get done. But let me just get to the first steps. The actual first steps that you take every day when you sit down is this. Well, it's prospecting, guys. Basically, prospecting is sending emails to customers, sending emails or phone calls to customers to convince people to buy software that you're selling, or at least to get them interested in the overall software. And I don't care if you are a sales development rep or an account executive, a lot of your time will be done prospecting. You have to create a wheel, a funnel of people who are interested into buying your products or your services. So the first thing that you will be doing when you wake up in the morning after you are done brushing your teeth, combing your hair, eating some breakfast, that's if you eat breakfast, is prospect. Now I'm gonna do a quick rewind. So I talked about prospect. Well, prospecting includes cold calling as well. Many of you guys are like, what in the earth do you mean by cold calling? Well, it's not when you put the phone in the fridge, I'll tell you that.
You serious?
What it means is a cold call or call is when you reach out directly to people or businesses to sell a product without ever being in contact with them before. It's not a warm introduction, because warm means that you've already been talking to them before. They already know who you are. Cold is they don't know who you are. Just imagine that. As you can imagine, guys, cold calling is pretty tough. Matter of fact, it's actually hard. It's never easy to just ring up someone to convince them to buy whatever it is that you're selling. I remember when I first got into tech sales, that was one of the roles or jobs that I absolutely hated. I hated prospecting for myself and cold calling in particular. But one of the cool things about it is after you do it some time, it gets easier and easier. But what's also cool about it is that the companies that you work for will give you a script. And I always had a script in front of me whenever I was going to make a call or send an email so that I always knew exactly what I wanted to say. And all of my colleagues did the exact same thing. The colleagues that I manage right now do the exact same thing. You have to understand what you're talking about in order for you to convince the person on the other line that you know what it is that you're talking about, but also you have a good understanding of what pain they may have. Now let's talk about email prospecting. You really have to strike the right balance, right? Because you want to give your client information without overwhelming them. So it's tough to strike the right balance. And I saw a lot of people in tech sales struggle with this, and they still do struggle with this when you're prospecting, especially on email. So make sure that your email is short and to the point and also has one pain point in it that will resonate with the other person who may be receiving. Here's a helpful tip, guys. Before you reach out on an email or pick up the phone and call somebody blindly, make sure you do your research first. Yes, they're going to tell you to do your research first, but you have to do your research, guys. People will really appreciate it if you're going to be reaching out that you actually understand what is it that they do, who they are, and so forth. So make sure you do your research. You wouldn't go to a networking event blind, right? Well, many of you guys probably do. That's why you don't really build a network. But besides that point, you have to do your research first because you want to understand what are the challenges that this company is facing or the people inside that company are facing that you have the solution for. If you don't do that research, you are going to fail. Now, I know I said earlier that I hated prospecting when I got into sales and so forth, but the reality of it is once you get pretty good at it, it's actually kind of fun. Sales prospecting.
What?
Sales prospecting is a lot of fun. You feel like you're putting yourself out there. You're meeting new people. You're introducing businesses to new technology. It can be very, very exciting. And there's no better feeling than finally getting that one successful sale that you prospect over the hill. Now, with all that being said, guys, let me talk to you guys about some downsides of prospecting. You know, your boy got to keep it real for you. Got to keep it real. I got to keep it real. That's what I do. I'm not going to lie to you. Here's the reality of it. The vast majority of people that you reach out to via phone call or email will not be interested into whatever it is that you're selling. That's just the nature of business. Repeat that. That's just the nature of business. It's not easy being turned down. It's not easy being rejected. And if you don't have a stomach for rejection, this is an area that will help you to become more positive, confident, beast mode, whatever you want to call it. I can tell you this, early on, I think that's the reason why I didn't like prospecting is because of the fact that I didn't like to be rejected and you were going to reject me. I ran away from it. I was like, you're going to reject me? Bye. Done. I'm done with you. But the reality of it is when you get a no, that's when it really starts. That's when the negotiation starts. That's when the attraction starts, right? It's like chasing that beautiful girl.
Yeah, boy.
You always said no to you in high school, but you kept on her. You kept on her, then you got her. You know what I mean? Many of you guys probably don't know what I mean. But one of the things about prospecting is that you're going to always look to refine your prospecting techniques. That means you're going to want to make your pictures better. You're going to want to improve your conversion rates. You're going to figure out ways to keep the readers reading your emails. You're going to figure out a way how you can make your pitch better so that people can actually listen to you on the phone, that sort of thing. And I got to say this, different companies use different methods for lead generation, prospecting, and so forth. Some think that it's easier to send out hundreds of emails a day, and other companies prefer more personal touch with phone calls. It really depends on your company. So when you're actually are looking for a sales role or you're doing a sales role, you would understand what it is that your company does, right? Some companies choose to do both, a combination of both, right? But before you sign up, like I mentioned, for any company, when you get into tech sales or when you're looking to get into tech sales, just talk to a recruiter on what ways that they actually go about doing lead generation and prospecting and so forth. And guys, calls and emails aren't the only way that you'll be doing prospecting. Oh, it is the majority of it, but you'll also be reaching out to people on LinkedIn. You'll also be holding meetings with big name clients, or sitting in meetings with big name clients that your other folks that work with you are in, or just doing general outreach. These kind of interactions are typical on a daily basis, and they are less formal than what it is from a prospecting email and so forth, but they are absolutely crucial. QBRs, quarterly business reviews, monthly business reviews are also ways that you can actually prospect and understand what it is that your company or your customer is doing so that you can find a solution for them. That's another way of prospecting as well. So just make sure, if anything, that you understand how to talk to people before you get into a tech sales job, because as you understand, it's really about communicating with people via email and over the phone and just talking to people. Now let's say you're done with the phone calls and the emails that morning. Maybe you even secured a client meeting for the next day or for the next week, right? Because things went really, really well for you. What's next? What is next on your agenda? Well, many of you will be surprised to hear that a lot of your time will be spent in meetings. One of the things that when you're in sales, you will understand that you're in a lot of internal meetings. I just don't mean client meetings either. I'm talking about internal meetings where you'll be getting trained on things. You'll be talking to your coworkers on what's working, what's not working. I would advise you to meet as many people internally, especially the people who are performing high, right? High performers, because these guys are going to give you the information that you need in order for you to become a better salesperson. So much of your time will be in internal meetings, getting training, listening to other people and their success stories, giving feedback to your managers on what's going right, what's not going right, and planning for the next day. Now, these meetings are informal. They're really more like get-togethers, right? So they could be get-togethers over beer or at the vineyard or on the boat. And that's the cool thing about sales as well. Although you were internal meetings, when you're in sales, you kind of have this flexibility to do meetings wherever you want. Could be at for lunch, whatever it is, right? So most of the time, depending on the company that you're working for, these meetings will be informal, which makes it seem like it's not really meetings, but it is actually meetings because you're on a clock, and it's vital to you building relationships with your internal people as well as your clients as well too. You have to make sure that you're in these meetings and be paying attention to what it is that they're sharing or the training that's going on and so forth. I'm about to give you guys a good tip. Make sure you write this down. Make sure that you're making the right connections in your sales role, because you have no idea where it can lead you. They always talk about your network being your net worth and so forth. Well, it's super important to make the right connections while you are in sale, both internally and externally, because you have no idea where the people that you're going to be selling to or working with or working for will end up. I have a leader of mine who's been a sponsor who's going to become a CEO at another company. And I can tell you this right now, he's willing to pay me the bag once he gets to that company. These are the connections that you need. This is what separates a lot of the people from getting roles, and it seems like it's easy for them to get roles, right? Where many of us have to just go out there and fill out hundreds and thousands of applications because we don't have a network. Well, when you have a network, you can pretty much call on somebody and say, hey, you know what? I'm open for work right now. And they know you were a good salesperson. You're gonna be like, I got you. I'll bring you in. Perfect. So make sure that you remember that to build the right connections, both internally as well as externally as well too. I'm gonna give you guys another good tip. If you know anything about sales engineers working at your company, make sure to stay on their good side and stay in the contact with these guys. Why, might you ask? What? Well, when you're talking to a client, you often get to later stages of a deal and you'll need to talk about the technical details of the solution. And at that point, that's where you have a sales engineer or a solution consultant, whatever you want to call them. You need these guys to pick up the phone at any point in time that you call, because at the end of the day, they're going to be helping you to sell the solution, and they have the technical details, the technical know-how, the ways how to configure the software to make it do what the customer needs it to do. So make sure you treat these guys very, very well. You have to. That's also what I'm talking about in my prior point here, is making sure that you build really good relationships. Well, a good person, a good team members, or good people that you want to build relationships with is those sales engineers. They're very, very important. If you have a good salesperson with a good sales engineer, they can absolutely crush it. So make sure you stay on the good side of your sales engineers, and you'll be working with these guys depending on if you have a deal going. Quite often, actually, more likely once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a week, they'll be in some of those internal meetings that you have as well. Now you're probably saying, man, Antoine, that's all you do in a day as a tech salesperson? You prospect and then you're in internal meetings? Well, there's a reason why you're in so many meetings, networking and building relationships. When you're trying to climb the corporate ladder or you're trying to get to the top, it pays to have good people on your side in high places. In my old jobs, it was often the case that when a position opened up, either because someone left the company or got promoted, the higher ups would always take a look at who they already had in the company, who already are delivering results. And if you made good connections already, you are in a much better place to get to the bag, guys, because your colleagues are going to be like, oh, that's that person. He's crushing it with the results. Your name will probably be one of the first they consider if you have made a good impression, guys. So that's the tip on getting promoted, building those relationships. So again, guys, let's just say you wake up as a tech salesperson tomorrow. You head to work, your day starts with some calls and emails, maybe some social media outreach, all part of your sales prospecting. Then you might have an internal meeting where you quickly touch base with the rest of your team members, your management, and so forth, sales engineers. You might head back to your desk to try to close some deals, work with the contracts teams, whoever it is, work with people who are going to help you get that deal done, and then you head home. That's pretty much it of the life of a tech salesperson. And a lot of the times you don't even have to go to the office. I gotta say this, tech sales is challenging work, I won't lie, but when you get in the groove of things, it's one of the most rewarding jobs that you will ever have. And it's because of the money that you will make. Money is absolutely insane. Just imagine making $300, $400, $500, $600,000 a year. That's how much money that you can make in tech sales, guys. Now I want to hear from you guys. I know there are plenty of you who have pursued a career in tech sales, who are in tech sales, who are looking to learn more about tech sales and experiences and so forth. What did your average day look like if you are in tech sales? If you want to be in tech sales, was this helpful for you? Leave me a comment down below in the video. Guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, make sure you hit the like button and go ahead and subscribe to the Black Heights Advancing Your Career channel, because you're going to get some more dope content like this. And until next time, y'all. Peace.